You feel the pressure every single day to do something that is as big as Monument Valley, but not Monument Valley.
Something that shares the same DNA of like being friendly and being approachable and open to everyone, but in different game genres.
The pressure is still the fact that you need to do it again, you need to do it again, you need to do it again. That's what makes you good at what you do. You don't want to be the band that has one album. But next year we'll find out whether it's worked or not. ustwo started off as just like a design and development studio, and then after opening a few studios in the world, eventually they decided that we just wanted to make something that wasn't necessary for clients, it was just for the love of creation, I guess. So that's when they made their first game, which was Whale Trail. That game did okay, but after the end of that, our owners, Mills and Sinks, basically went, we're going to do this properly. So they hired in some games experience people, and the first thing we made's Monument Valley.
I started working on games 11 years ago now, and I was a 3D artist for 3 years doing the same thing. I got quite tired of it. So I found ustwo games. You could see the atmosphere of stuff is happening here. And I was like, I need to work here.
I'd worked in the same company for about 9 years up in Birmingham. I felt like I'd learned everything I could about making racing games. And I chanced upon like a talk that Dan gave up in Nottingham. And I just remember sitting there and hearing Dan talk and going like, man, that's exactly the kind of place I want to work. Having a creative space where you work with interesting people and you're trying to make something that is a bit more from your heart.
So the challenges with Monument Valley 2 obviously was that second album syndrome. But I think what really changed it was we hired some new people who joined the company because they loved Monument Valley, and they had all these ideas that us as the original creators, never thought of. We sat around and we said what storylines or what characters are not portrayed in video games correctly, and that was that of a mother. Mothers are usually, some kind of escort quest that's really annoying because you've got to protect a character that's vulnerable. Like, we didn't want any of that stuff. It's like, how do we empower this mother to be an architect of this world and really tell a story of this relationship?
So there's a bunch of things I wanted to bring back from the MV1 days, and the idea of the original character was that she was kind of like a chess pawn. So what I wanted for the second one to keep the shapes very simple, and that's why for the kid I really like this hangy hat, because it says
Adds
playful
joy.
all the
Yeah.
time. And then the mother took a long time to figure out, because we wanted a character that was a person, not just like my job is mom. The first version of the mother, maybe there's something behind here. It's kind of like similar to this. Basically, it's a cylinder walking around. I really like the character. I was like testing it, and like no one got it. When we were like playing, it's like, it looked like a slug. We call it a slug mom.
With the slug mom, it still felt a little bit like the mother was a bit of a burden.
It was very like, I am a mother.
Yeah.
Mother uniform, which we
Yeah.
didn't want. I guess the mother uniform ended up being like the...
Yeah, just the bun on the back.
It's like, I'm in business. I'm not here to like mingle.
The thing that I always find the maddest is people say, how do you guys manage to make games that don't look like games? And we just go, well, we don't look at games as like reference.
Yeah.
We look at other stuff.
We've always had all the walls covered in all things. For Monument Valley 1 was mainly architecture and illustration. For the second one, we wanted to take it a step further. Abstract paintings, candy, Polly Pockets as well. There's lots of drag queens influencing the visuals of the game. We had this article made about the making of Monument Valley 2 recently, and they chose as a header the picture of one of the drag queens that I really like. Her name is Kimchi. And she was on Twitter like, oh my God, this is my favorite game ever. I was like, yes, and that tweet is like printed on the wall behind us.
It's definitely a new adventure for everyone on the team. I think that we have been the Monument Valley company for a while now.
I think I felt that pressure a little while ago. Dan and Pash did the best they could to not use the words Monument Valley and not say, look, we've got to like build something as big as that. The goal that I set myself when I came to ustwo Games was to make things that are more personal. And now I've suddenly got that chance to. Oh God, what do I do now? I'm setting myself this incredibly open brief.
So I really like the very scary freedom of just do whatever, but make it cool. Make sure it is cool. At the same time, it's really scary.
So in the game that I'm working on, we are trying to bring mobile games to the next level in terms of narrative. So actually the characters that we're talking about and their interpersonal relationships are very important to us. Like it's almost like a meditative or being busy with your hands while your mind is still able to focus on something else.
The game we're working on is kind of like inspired by real life experiences, and we kind of wanted to capture that special something about like a concrete place in the real world. It's actually so concrete that hopefully people will say, oh, this is true, like my life was true. This is the beginnings of the project that I'm working on now, trying to figure out what's the best input method, how the character moves around the world. Like, okay, how many different areas do we want, how they're going to be interconnected, how small, how big is the world? Is there going to be like nighttime scenes, like figuring out how the main character looks? We have our first sketch, so everyone in the studio can see what's going on and hopefully kind of like buy into the vision.
We come to Shoreditch to do user testing regularly, maybe every 3 or 4 weeks.
It's to kind of challenge your own assumptions about what you think will work.
We try to not be personally offended if someone like has difficulties with the game, because it's in the end just another task for us to take care of.
The classic thing is when someone says, oh, I'm really sorry, I'm failing. And you're like, no, this is the most useful data for us right now. Because if you're failing right now, it means that we can fix it. What is it that makes you do it that way?
I guess that's just how I feel things.
When we were talking about what makes an ustwo Games game and ustwo Games game, I think there's a lot of amazing indie games that have been made by 1 or 2 people that are a pure expression, like a pure personal expression. And we always love playing things like that, but a lot of the time we're not gonna, you're not gonna get millions of people playing that, right? So for us, it's like, how do we take some of the beauty and craft of smaller indie games and just take it one notch up? How do we put it to millions of people instead of hundreds of people?